Feel the energy. These guys are ready to go. Welcome, sports fans. Thanks for joining us. It's the NBA on 2K Sports. Kevin Harlan here with Greg Anthony and checking out Minnesota's opening lineup. Underneath in the post, Towns and Gobert. Sliding in at the wing, it'll be Edwards and McDaniels. And it's Conley in at the point. And for Utah, they've got Markkanen. Clarkson is out there with Colin Sexton. Then it's Kelly Olynyk. It's a battle of the bigs. Two fantastic centers, Clark, in this matchup tonight. Some throwback basketball.
Well, you know, there was a time, Kevin, when centers dominated the league. And as you said, tonight we're going to throw it back to those days.
Sexton against Conley. Now here's McDaniels. He's tightly guarded. Second shot opportunity, and there it is for him.
Yeah, that's a good way to start the game. Nice inside bucket right there.
The Timberwolves shooting their first free throw of the game.
Jaden McDaniels at the line for one.
And we've seen it for years. Despite their regular season success, the Jazz just unable to make much noise in the playoffs. Credit the front office for coming to terms with it and pivoting to a rebuild while they could get top value for their stars.
Back to Sexton. 5 to shoot. And it's good. 2 points.
You know, Crafty, just capitalizing there on the floater. Give Sexton room to shoot that shot, and he's going to take it.
And that was the Mobile One drive. Well worth a second look.
And you gotta love the aggression that he had, taking it to the rim there. Sets the tone in a close game like this one.
McDaniels in the post. He's guarded by Markkanen.
Oh, you've got to be able to deliver when you get a bunny like that. That's just too easy of a shot to miss.
Count that one.
You can't let a smaller guard burn you inside. Still, you got to love Sexton's focus and fearlessness.
Conley against Sexton. And looks like the illegal pick was set. Yep, that's right. That'll get their attention.
And not the most common call in the NBA, but hard to argue that pick wasn't illegal.
Yeah, you know, the officials aren't nearly as lenient as they used to be on that call. As a matter of fact, I know I got away with a lot of those in my playing days, but that was 40 years ago.
So Utah ends up going with the new group. Big group substitution now for Minnesota. Reed, he's checked in for Gobert. Anderson comes in for Karl Anthony Towns. Prince is checked in for McDaniels. And it's Noel in for Mike Conley. And that'll be 2 free throws coming up. Officials on the call with the foul.
You know, when it comes to the Minnesota Timberwolves, for so long, they've struggled to be competitive. But recently, I think they've started to turn things around. I mean, they've got a nice core. They got a taste of the playoffs recently, and now look to build on that.
Take a break. Take a break. 2 shots.
First one falls for him. That one misses. Timberwolves have gone 1 of 3 from the field to start this one so far. Here's Noel. The Timberwolves again can't hit. And it's Utah's ball. Gabe passes to Abaji. He lobs up the alley-oop pass, takes the alley-oop pass and dunks it down.
And how about the communication between teammates on that alley-oop?
And that's what you need to pull that thing off.
Boy, both ends of that play, guys, were fantastic.
reached the end of the first quarter. Utah out in front. They're up by 4. And we'll be back shortly for the start of the second quarter.
Look who it is, Jazz fans. It's your Utah Jazz.
And for those of you just tuning in, the second quarter of action is where we're at right now. And guys, from what we've been watching with the Jazz, what are you guys seeing out there?
An impressive start. They came in with a well-conceived game plan and have executed.
Yeah, you know what? Makes it really easy for the coaching staff in that case. No adjustments needed. Just keep on keeping on.
The Timberwolves secured a spot in the playoffs last season, Greg, and we enjoyed it after they got that emotional win in the play-in game in the Twin Cities over the Clippers. What a night.
And, Kevin, you could tell it meant a lot to the players. This is a team that has struggled for so long, and by getting to the playoffs, this is a step in the right direction.
And so in the game for the Timberwolves, 2 big men inside, Towns and Gobert. Sliding in at the wing, it'll be Edwards and McDaniel. And it's Conley in at the point guard position. Markkanen kicks to Clarkson. Kicks it out to Markkanen. 4 on the clock. Shoots over McDaniel. And a great job by the D contesting that shot and forcing the miss. Timberwolves trail by 4. Here's Edwards. And that one falls, coming off Conley's feet. Edwards got the opening field goal of the second quarter for the Timberwolves. Conley against Sexton. Out to Clarkson. And there's the call. It's going to be an illegal screen.
And, guys, point of emphasis for the league is to really crack down on illegal screens.
Yeah, you know, he might have gotten away with that a few years ago, but not anymore. No way. Now you've got to be stationary on those screens. No extra hips or elbows, or they'll call it.
Here's what Minnesota's going with right now. Naz Reid, he's checked in for Rudy Gobert. Kyle Anderson comes in for McDaniels. And it's Austin Rivers in for Edwards. Conley, the pass to Reid. And the dunk by Towns.
Boy, good effort that time from Towns on the offensive board, ensuring that his team is able to end that possession with points.
The pass to Abaji. Here's Horton Tucker. Pass to Toscano. That one, no good. Good D by Anderson. Rivers in the corner. Fires the 3. No good there. So a tie game here as we finish the first half. And join us right back here after the break for the start of the second half.
The Timberwolves.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello, basketball fans. What a pleasure it is to bring you into the 2K studios again. Ernie Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith. Utah found themselves in a close game in the first. And in that period, the most they trailed by was 3. They couldn't hold on to the slim lead they had at the start of the second quarter and headed into the locker room with the game all knotted up. Shaq, how'd you think the Jazz were playing?
A one-dimensional perimeter attack doesn't cut it. I like to see them punch the ball inside the second half, force the defense to collapse, then you can play inside out.
Kenny, let's get your insight on the Timberwolves.
The road could be unfriendly. They've clearly risen to the top. They're shrugging off the chants from the fans. Defense, all of that's no. They're playing their focus, and they're getting to work. They're playing with a lot of confidence.
And that's going to do it for us here. Second half of action is coming your way.
Look who it is, Jazz fans.
And in that first half, we saw a pretty tough battle. We'll soon find out what sort of adjustments were discussed during the half. You know, Greg, we know to win at the highest level, you need your star players to show up in the big games. With that in mind, what's the key?
You know, it's their will and their ability to fight. If you look at the great ones, even when things haven't gone their way, They continue to scratch and claw and do everything in their power to try and get the W.
Markkanen is out there with Kelly Olynyk. Then there's Jordan Clarkson. Then there's Sexton. That's the group right now for Utah. And they take the lead.
Built like a linebacker, Edwards is not your average off guard, folks.
That was a second look at our Mobile One drive. Amazing control on display.
It's all about the ability to get 2 feet in the paint, whether it's creating for a teammate or for yourself.
There's 1:17 left in the third quarter. Back to Sexton. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Over Conley. And the rejection by Towns.
Using all of his height to smother the shot completely. Emphatic block that time by Karl Anthony Towns. Really nice job moving the ball around that time, picking apart that defense.
They need a good offensive possession.
Yeah, they've gone a long time without a bucket.
Clarkson against Edwards. A shot by Clarkson, no good. Minnesota leading by 4. McDaniels kicks to Edwards. Passes it to Conley. Now McDaniels. Lots of room. The offensive rebound. Gobert, no good.
Yeah, he just flat out tricked that one, missed it, and has no one to blame but himself.
Here's Clarkson. 11 feet out and he hits it.
Mesmerizing and stupefying the defense. Clarkson carves out space from mid-range.
Now here's Edwards. And it's blocked. And they get it back. That's a 2 from Towns. And no luck with that time on the buzzer beater. It's still anybody's game as we've reached the end of 3. Timberwolves lead by 2. And time for the short break, and stay right where you are. The fourth quarter is coming up next. While we have the chance now, folks, let's go to our State Farm assist of the game.
And, you know, you can always count on him for at least a couple of these pretty assists over the course of a game. And this one, a thing of beauty.
It sure is. I mean, he's a maestro. Great vision, terrific IQ, everything you want in a point guard.
And I know I speak for all of us when I say I can't wait to see what kind of finish awaits us here in the fourth quarter. So on the floor for Minnesota, Kyle Anderson is out there with Prince. Then it's Naz Reid. Then there's Austin Rivers. And it's Noel in at the point. He dishes it to Anderson. Good work defensively by Gay. And here's Gay. He'll bring it up for the Utah Jazz. Trailing by 2. Anderson against Sexton. Over Anderson. Anderson with the block. And now the fast break Anderson with the ball. And Rivers gets it to go in on the assist by Anderson. Rivers has got the lead up to 4 now for the Timberwolves. And guys, let's get your take on the hustle stats for Minnesota.
A high-effort brand of defense has been paying off for them in this one. They've managed to either block or alter a ton of their opponent's shots.
Yeah, you know, the defense just hasn't been able to keep up with them in this one. The transition game as a result of good defense has been very strong.
Kwai, Sexton, taking 2 shots.
He hits the first one, and that narrows the lead down to just 3.
And for a point guard like Sexton, a guy who handles the ball in big moments, you'll be at the line in this spot a ton.
And Sexton drops them both.
Getting it done at the line as he usually does, and that could be huge in a tight game like this one.
Pass to Reed. Fader on the way. Yes!
You just love seeing a player with absolutely no fear.
Cool, calm, collected, and confident in the biggest moment of the game. Yes.
And now Minnesota on the fast break. Anderson with the ball. Prince misses. Utah with the ball. Gay scanning before. Kicks it to Sexton. Second chance effort. And blocked. That one goes careening off the glass. And so they choose to intentionally foul. Big group substitution now for Minnesota. Rudy Gobert, he's checked in for Reed. McDaniels comes in for Taurean Prince. Edwards has come in for Rivers. And it's Mike Conley in for Noel. And the Timberwolves call time here. They're up by 4. 29 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Player of the game, Kyle Anderson.
Boy, how about the high percentage he shot from the floor? I mean, come on now. He got to a point where you just assumed every shot he took was going to find the bottom of the net. That's how locked in he was all game long.
And now the latest from our reporter, David Aldridge.
I was able to listen in on what Chris Finch told the team. He told his guys, that team is not going to give it to us. We have to take it. That means staying aggressive and playing with no fear. Kevin, back to you.
Thank you, David.
Second team foul. At the line for the Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards. 2 shots.
Good on the first, and that puts them up by 5.
How about the work ethic of Anthony Edwards? Not to mention that linebacker build and the sweet shooting stroke. But what he wants most is to see his team succeed. That's what you love about AE.
About 3 seconds between shot and game play. Sexton, the pass to Markkanen. And there's the whistle. 3-second violation.
Minnesota ball.
Minnesota with the ball.
Jazz foul.
A great fourth quarter, just giving up 2 points.
That's his first personal foul. Third team foul. At the line for the Timberwolves, Mike Conley. At the line for 2.
He drops the first one, and that increases their lead to 6.
Still a solid point guard in this league. When Conley is healthy, he makes a considerable impact on both ends.
Second one is good. Being both at the line. It's a 7-point game.
Those are critical foul shots. Love to see him knock them down there.
Utah calls timeout. They're trailing by 7. 17 seconds left in the fourth. 17 seconds left to play in the final quarter. Here's McLaughlin. And so the Timberwolves take the win. They seem to relish their role as the bad guy here tonight.